if you stumbled upon this video, chances are you're probably a similar guy like me, where you're probably broke, still live at home with your parents, or you still live in your hometown, or you live in the same environment. You might be a little bit lost, but you're young, hungry, and ambitious, and you also want to go ahead and, despite those restrictions, reinvent yourself and rebrand yourself, but you don't necessarily know how. So, how you're going to do that, bro, is you are going to need to temporarily isolate yourself. The reason why I'm saying that is because reinvention requires isolation. And that is something that I've only realized just recently, because for a good amount of this year thus far, I have spent a lot of time by myself. But the difference between this time with me spending all this time by myself versus the previous years, because I've spent a majority of my life alone, is I've actually have made it more productive, but more importantly, have taken the time to undo a lot of like my thoughts, my beliefs, my morals, my actions, my behaviors, and I started to slowly rewire myself to become ultimately who I want to be and decide and work on towards where I want to go with my life. But the only way I've been able to do that is by me isolating myself, and you need to go ahead and do the same. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm pretty sure you're going to realize as I'm saying this is maybe for a majority of your life or your entire life up until this point, you probably don't realize that a lot of the ways you talk, walk, act, and behave, a lot of that has been influenced by outside forces or by people outside of yourself. Maybe such as your parents, your friends, your peers, or the teachers that have taught you in grade school, high school, and maybe even college. And so that's probably why you may also be lost, because you don't necessarily know who you are and you don't understand why you act the way that you act, but more importantly, you don't want to be this way anymore. And so with you going into isolation and you cutting out a lot of the outside influences as much as you possibly can, I know it's hard, especially if you live with your parents, but with you trying to cut out some of your friends, your peers, all that other stuff, that is going to give you the space to rebrand yourself and give you a blank slate for you to decide who you want to build yourself up to be and to become, and also to decide where you want to go with your life and figure out how to get there. That's pretty much what you're going to essentially need to do. Is you are going to need to take the time, bro. And like I said, it's only temporary. And you don't have to necessarily cut people off if you don't want to, but you're going to have to temporarily, with enough will and discipline, isolate yourself so you can go ahead and rebrand yourself to somebody that you want to become. Because this is something that, like I said, I've only come to realize as of recently with the time that I've taken, or a lot of the time I've taken this year thus far, is I've been able to slowly, and I'm still working on it, discover exactly who I am and who I want to become. But the only reason I've been able to do that is because I have spent a lot of time isolating myself and spending a lot of time by myself and actually thinking and figuring out and analyzing not only like my behaviors and all of the stuff that makes me me up until this point, but also figuring out the stuff that I want to change and how I want to get myself to where I want to go with my life and who I want to become. And so in order for you to do that, in order for you to reinvent yourself, you need to go ahead and isolate yourself. I want to thank you so much for watching, bro. Go ahead, take the time now, go out there and reinvent yourself. And other than that, best of luck, and I'll catch you in my next video, bro. Peace.